This ain't nostalgia. This ain't glorification. This ain't no documentary. Before podcasts, before social media, before everybody had a camera, there were the streets that raised us. East Flatbush, Brooklyn, the crack era. Private school discipline, public school chaos. This isn't a story about crime. It's a story about conditioning, about how environments manufacture men. Some of us survived, some of us adapt, some of us became what we once feared. My name is Little Shawn, and these are the smoke signals. Long before hip-hop had a name, before the mixtapes, before record deals, before anybody argued about who the greatest rapper alive was, there was East Flatbush, a Brooklyn pocket stitched together by the Caribbean, Jamaica, Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados, Haiti. Families who migrated north carrying accents, recipes, discipline, and sound systems. Back then, we wasn't debating no rap lyrics. We was in the game rooms, weed spots, playing Miss Pac-Man, blinking in dim light, stacking quarters on the arcade to hold your spot. Outside, homemade speaker boxes leaned out apartment windows like monuments. Bob Marley cried through cracked woofers. Early dancehall DJs toasted over rhythms that rattled the block. And the air, thick. Weed smoke, curry, ambition. East Flatbush wasn't trying to be cool, just was. Brooklyn clubs like the Biltmore Ballroom loved people. It wasn't just nightclubs, they was ecosystems. Music, money, power, presence. Some people in those rooms wasn't chasing survival, they were chasing status. Some were chasing something bigger than themselves. Me, I was just a kid, and every Saturday at 3 o'clock on Channel 5, the neighborhood turned into a dojo. The younger Jamaicans packed in the living rooms to watch karate flicks. One favorite, 5 Deadly Venoms. 5 students trained in 5 different fight styles, each powerful, each unique, taught discipline, but undone by greed. In the film, they were called the Poison Clan. And years later, that name would echo differently through Brooklyn. But that's later. Because while they was glued to Kung Fu, I was glued to Soul Train. While they practiced crane kicks in the living room, I studied rhythm. They wore Adidas Sambas, soccer shoes, slim, clean. I wore Adidas Superstars, shell toes. That rubber front wasn't fashion to me, it was armor. They kicked soccer balls through the park. I tied a milk crate hoop to a tree and shot basketball till sunset. 2 worlds, same block, different rhythm. At first, I stood out. One of the only American kids surrounded by Jamaicans. Different slang, different soundtrack inside my head. But culture has a way of seeping into you, slow, then all at once. The beef patty and cocoa bread replaced the Italian slice of pizza. The accents blended, the bass got louder. And eventually, the Caribbean influence became so strong in East Flatbush, if you told somebody you was from around there, they automatically assumed your parents were immigrants. That's how deep it ran. And while all that was shaping me, there was something else keeping me straight. Wasn't school, wasn't the police, wasn't fear of the streets. It was my pops. And to this day, even after his passing, he was the toughest man I've ever encountered. Not loud, not reckless, just solid. The kind of solid that bends rooms when it walks in. Before Brownsville, there was North Carolina. He told me he had to leave, said trouble followed him the way weather follows a storm front. When he landed in Brooklyn, he made his home in Brownsville. And it didn't take long before violence found him again. He survived an attempt on his life. In the mid-1950s, he did time on Rikers Island. He never told the story like a victim. He told it like a chapter, just something that happened. After his release, he met my mom's, married her, built a family, built structure, built me. In his own words, somebody introduced him to a connected man in Bay Ridge who put him on in construction. He became a foreman, hard hat, clipboard, authority. But Brooklyn in those days wasn't just a 9-to-5. He later ran a pool room in Bristol and Newport and Brownsville. That pool room wasn't just pool, it was conversation, politics, He ran numbers, loan sharp, his favors, presence. And when you grow up under a man like that, peer pressure outside don't hit the same, because no one on the block was scarier than the man at my dinner table. The streets had noise. My father had gravity. That gravity kept me straight, not because he preached, but because I saw what strength looked like. And I saw what consequences looked like. He had already survived things most men don't talk about, already stood in rooms most people don't enter, already been battle tested. So when the streets started shifting, when money started moving differently, when older guys on the block started flashing new cars, when whispers got louder, when police presence got heavier, I felt the change before I understood it. The movie villains killed each other over money. In Brooklyn, money was about to change everything. The word hadn't fully taken over yet, but it was coming. Crack. First it was quiet, then it was everywhere. Alliances shifted, power shifted, fear shifted, and names started meaning something different. That Poison Clan from the Kung Fu movie, that idea of power turning on itself, Brooklyn was about to live its own version. But in the middle of all that noise, I still had gravity at home. And I ain't know it yet, but East Flatbush was about to stop being just culture. It was about to become survival. And the same block that raised me was about to test me. That's when the smoke got thicker. And that's where we pick up next time. This is Smoke Signals, the Little Shawn Files.